Hi, Vivzi. If you're watching this, I demand justice for one animated character. Why I can show her to you. Do you by any chance recognize this character? Well, I think you do recognize this character. If you don't, I'll remind you. It's Stella from helluvaboss, from your show, and I demand justice for this character because seriously, one of the reasons why I really like helluvaboss is because it creates, it created a plethora of very interesting characters with different motivations, background stories, characters that aren't simply bad or good, but very complex characters who do bad things, who do good things. Like for example, the main team of characters, the IMPR assassins who kill people for money. That's their business, but at the same time they're very complex characters with their own problems, and by the end of season 2 they even recognize that sometimes killing is not an option. These characters hate each other, but at the end of the day they recognize that they need each other and that hating each other is not an option. Like Luna finally recognizes Blitz as her dad despite years of resenting him and being resentful and hateful, and Stolla is a complex character who on one hand he definitely tries to be a good father. We cannot say that he is a bad, abusive, toxic father, not at all. He tries to be good, he tries to take care of his daughter Octavia. That's on one hand. On the other hand, however, he neglects her. He tries to be a good father, but he fails at that. He constantly forgets that he needs to spend time with his daughter. He promises to spend time with her to, for example, see stars in episode 2 of season 2, but at the same time he forgets about that and he neglects his daughter's needs. But there's also one character that is absolutely neglected, and that has absolutely no interesting character development or an interesting background, something that would humanize this character. And this character is exactly Stella. Why I decided to make this short video is that I listened to a song by a certain artist on YouTube named Milky Melodies. I'm sure lots of people who watch Helluverse are familiar with this artist, and she released a pretty damn good song called Checkmate, which is sung from the perspective of Stella, and I really like how this song gives us insight into the psyche of Stella as a character. This song acknowledges that Stella is a bad character, that she does bad things, that she abuses her official husband and manipulates her daughter, but at the same time it makes us sympathetic towards her. It explains to us where Stella comes from, and in this song we'll learn that Stella, she's been betrothed to Stolla when she was really young. She didn't want to marry. She wanted to have her own life, basically. She wanted to be a leader. She wanted to do things that she wants to do. She wanted people to respect and even fear her. She wanted to be a fearsome leader, but then it was all taken from her because she was forced into marriage. We usually look at this marriage from the perspective of Stolla's, because we watch this show from the perspective of Blitz, and Stolla is Blitz's boyfriend, so we observe this whole family situation from the perspective of Stolla, not surprisingly. But we look at the same situation from the perspective of Stella. We can see that Stella's situation is also pretty bad, forced into marriage, forced to carry an egg, to raise an heir, forced into this situation where she didn't want to be. And Stella points in the song, by Milky Melodies, that she's actually been a faithful wife despite not caring for Stolla, despite resenting Stolla. She was forced to marry him. Of course she would resent him, unless it's Beauty and the Beast or something. But you know, that story is pretty toxic. So unless it's Beauty and the Beast, of course she would resent, even though Stolas himself is not a bad or abusive person. He is also a victim of the situation. They're both victims. And we cannot say Stolas is good and Stella is bad, or Stella is good and Stolas is bad. We can't say they're both victims equally. And in this song, Stella, as I said, points out that despite not liking Stolas or even hating him, she played her role being a good wife. She never cheated Stolas. She always pretended, she always, you know, upheld this facade of being a good wife to Stolas. And at the same time, Stolas, he was never faithful. He never even pretended to be faithful. Ever since he met Blitz again after, you know, when they were after the marriage, he was really into Blitz. He didn't even try. He didn't even pretend that he and Stella are a couple, are a married couple, and that they have a daughter. He was shamelessly cheating on Stella, and of course we do not blame him. You know, he also needs to be loved and needs to have normal relationship. Although, of course, it is hard to call his relationship with Blitz normal in any sense. It was very exploitative and unequal for the most part. But that's a topic for an entirely different video. So if we look from Stella's perspective, she tried hard to appear to be a good wife and present this image of a good family to other family members, to the royal society in general. But Stolas didn't try. She tried hard still, and Stolas didn't. And of course, she would grow resentful and hateful and toxic towards Stolas because she sees that she works hard to uphold this image of a royal marriage, and Stolas does all sorts of things with his imp. He absolutely doesn't care about reputation or anything. He just rushes to that court to, you know, to defend Blitz, and Stolas basically agrees to take punishment, to lose his royal status and all that stuff for Blitz. And if we look at this situation from both Stolas and Stella's perspective, then we realize that the situation is far more complex than we might think. We think of this family as a good, caring father, Stolas, and a very toxic, abusive wife who hates Stolas, who tries to assassinate him. But we do not go in depth, and precisely because the show doesn't go in depth, the show presents this one-sided picture. The show doesn't give us any glimpse into Stella's point of view, and that's why this video is probably called Justice for Stolla, or however I call it. I mean, Justice for Stolla. In the third season, I would really like Stella to be more developed. I don't ask for Stolla to suddenly be, you know, a misunderstood villain, a good character. No, what she does is unacceptable. Even though Stolla was not perfect, that didn't give her any right to treat him that poorly. He just wakes up and wants to, you know, have some breakfast, and she attacks him. She abuses him mentally, and then she even hires an assassin in the second season to literally terminate him. That's not good behavior. And I don't ask for Stella to become a sympathetic, misunderstood villain like Cruella or Maleficent or something like that. But I want development. This show is known for good character development. That's why I'm asking, because this show literally thrives on giving us complex characters. Like Luna, for example, a very complex character with we can understand Luna. We can criticize Luna because for what she does, how she treats her father Blitz. But at the same time, we can understand her why she would resent and distrust him because of years that she spent in an orphanage surrounded by people she simply could not trust. So from this perspective, it's a really good show, and Stella is, and her brother, but her brother doesn't really matter. Stella is very underwritten, very underdeveloped, and I want her to have a bigger role in season 2, in season 3 I mean. And we also saw the ending, the 11th episode of the second season, which is Mastermind, and we didn't really see Stella interacting with Octavia before, but in that episode we see that she actually comforts her daughter, which means that she and Octavia do have some good relationship, and which is also highlighted in Milky Melody's song. In that song, Milky Melodies highlights that Stella wants the power, and she wants to give the power and everything to Octavia, everything that Stella couldn't have because of forced marriage. So yes, Stella has an insane potential to be one of the best characters in season 3. So I'll be patiently waiting for season 3, and that's just what I would like to see in the show. And thanks for watching, and leave your comments, share your opinions on Stella. What would you like to see in the third season, and see ya.